Alright, today we're going to be cooking a steak hot and fast, short on time, then this video's for you. Let's get started. Alright, so let's get the steak prepped. We have our boneless Snake River Farms strip steak, gold grade. That's their highest grade they have. Amazing marbling. We'll check it out more when we get it open. We're going to be cooking this hot and fast today. We're going to be using the meter. We're going to just go simple. Spiceology, salt, pepper, garlic, a little bit of olive oil for the steak, for a binder. And let's get this open and let's get it prepped. Get this opened up. Let's check out our awesome steak here. And for the meat, get our packaging out of the way. Alright, so there you go. This is our SRF gold grade. You can see all that awesome marbling in here. I am going to take this a touch higher in temp just because we do want this fat to render down a little. Got our nice strip steak there. Excellent marbling. We're going to go ahead. I'm going to use a little bit of a binder. Lots of stuff works. Olive oil, mayonnaise, hot sauce, different stuff. I'm going to hit it with a little bit of oil on one side, get the sides. Then I'm going to go ahead, salt, pepper, garlic this. Just give it a nice good coating. It can take it. Don't forget those sides. Get all around. There's that fat. Gotta love that little fat piece. Get that little tail. All that good stuff. Flip it over. Repeat. Oil. Nice little coat. And again, we're going to let that in there. Alright, that's how easy it is to prep our steak. There's lots of different ways. You could let this sit for a couple hours in the fridge. You could dry brine it overnight. Lots of different ways. I'm just going to let this sit for a few minutes and then we're going to go ahead. We're going to get it on the griddle behind me and we're going to cook this hot and fast. Alright. It's been sitting a few minutes, griddle is almost hot. We're going to go ahead, we're going to put this temp probe in. Again, lots of different ways to monitor temp. You necessarily don't need a temp probe. Some people like to cook it without one at all. But I definitely recommend the meter. It's awesome. On a steak this big, you know, it's not necessary again, but it's awesome. It's going to make sure we get that perfect temp we're looking for. So you can see it's not that big. I'm going to go from the top down into it. So we're going to be getting that meter right about there. So our temperature is going to be right about there. So when that's about reading about 125, 130-ish, this will be a little bit more rare, but that's okay. That'll give us a nice, good center with that. So we're going to go ahead. We're going to get that in the middle as much as we can. Make sure we're going down. And we got our meter in there, and there you go. Alright, we got our Traeger Flat Rock set to high. That temp is probably reading about between 500 and 550 over there. We're going to be cooking our steak hot and fast, but we're going to be doing it a little bit different. We're going to flip our steak every 30 to 45 seconds, making sure to get that perfect crust. Let's get cooking. Alright, let's get going. So, spray down our grill a little bit. Alright, like I said, we're going hot and fast today. Going to be flipping about every 30 to 45 seconds. Let's get sizzling. So with this method, we're constantly going to be flipping our steak, getting a nice even crust on every side is our goal. So far we've been a little over 20 seconds. You're going to get to see the whole cook start to finish and what we're going to do. Alright, it has probably been about close to 30 seconds, a little sooner, it's okay. We're going to flip. You can start to see, we're getting that Maillard reaction, that heat is creating our nice crust. Let me enjoy the sizzle. So as you can see a little bit in there, we have that meter app going. It's monitoring the temp as we go. Again, we were starting at 39 degrees, a little bit cooler than what I would like, but again, sometimes that happens. You know, you forget to pull out your steak a little bit. Don't be afraid. You can still cook an awesome steak, as you're going to see. So go ahead. We're going to just keep on flipping this. And again, we're getting that nice crust on our steak, letting that come up to our temp. Again, we're shooting for about 115 before we pull it. Our meter app is saying we have about 7 minutes remaining of cooking. We'll see how accurate that is. Probably be pretty close. Again, you can see we're kind of building that crust. I may push down a little bit right in this area, get a little bit more crust in that area. Again, that's kind of a personal preference on how you cook it. Check our meter temp. 75 degrees, 76. You can see we're moving up really fast as that meter monitors the temperature in there, getting that up nice and hot, trying to hold it steady for you. Let's go back to the steak. All right, let's flip. I'm going to do a little press. Don't worry, I'm not squeezing any juices out. Getting a little bit more crust in a couple of those areas. What's also great about the griddle, you can see we have that fat rendering out. Steak is cooking in its own juices, just getting some awesome flavor. I'm just going to hold it down right about there. I'll get that little spot that was missing a little bit that I want a little bit more. Go ahead, we'll check our meter again, hold it for you as best I can. 99.7 degrees at 100. You can see we're shooting for 115 before we pull it. Go ahead, let's flip. See, we got some more crust in that area. Alright, the meter is reading about 112 degrees, so a few more degrees and then we'll go ahead and pull this. Let's get the fat rendered on the side a little bit. That side a little bit, don't forget those sides. So we're just going to grab our steak, put that fat a little bit on each side, give it a little bit extra flavor. Again, just going kind of quick, kind of getting that rendered down a little bit. One more on that side. Alright, so we've been cooking about a little over 6 minutes. We're reading 116 degrees. We're going to go ahead, we're going to pull this off. Look at that sizzle. Alright, let's go ahead, let's get it covered up. You can see in that short time from the grill just to the plate, it's only doing stuff for about a minute. We're already at 123.8 degrees. I'm not going to do it real tight. We're just going to kind of do a loosely tented, just kind of keep some of the heat in there, but still let that airflow keep our nice crust rebuilt. So, we cooked this steak for about a little around 6-7 minutes. So we're going to let this rest. Probably we want to let it rest at least 4 minutes. I'm going to go about 5-6 minutes, get some fried rice cooked on the griddle, and then we're going to go ahead, we're going to slice this open, and we're going to see how we did with that hot and fast method. Alright, let's see how we did. Have our steak resting. There we go, our New York strip steak, cooked hot and fast, flipping it about every 30 to 45 seconds. Seasoned with olive oil and a little bit of salt, pepper, and garlic. Simple seasoning. We started out at about 38, 39 degrees on the steak. When we pulled it, we finished right at about 115, 116 with the rest. We got up to 123 degrees. That's why we use the meter to monitor those temperatures. So let's see how we did. All right. I'd say we knocked it out of the park. That's that nice medium rare. We're right around that 123, 124 mark, maybe a little touch smaller in the middle. Let's go ahead, slice this up, see what it looks like. So you can see we can cook a steak from nearly frozen, hot and fast. We're still gonna get a nice even cook. I know the flavor is gonna rock on this. So if you're ever in a rush, don't be afraid. Just bust out that grill, get going. Let's get this kind of presented up all night. All right, the most important part, the taste test. If you enjoyed today's video, be sure to hit that subscribe button. Leave a comment. Let me know what you would like to see. Be sure to check out the social channels. Appreciate y'all. This Juke and Q is out of here.